Before we get into the latest news surrounding the New York Football Giants, I want to hear back from all the real ones. The NFL season is over, and we're trying to get better here at the channel. So let me know, how likely are you to recommend Giants Now to a friend? Scale it from 1 to 10. 1 being you hate this show, you hate My Widow's Peak, and you would never recommend this show to a friend. Or 10 being you love this show, and you've already told all your friends to become real ones. If your score is low, let us know how you think we can improve this show down in the comments section. Let's go, Big Blue. What up, Giants fans? We got a lot to talk about on the show. The rumors surrounding Big Blue are officially heating up now that we are entering the off season. Make sure to give me a follow over on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_. I want to get more Giants followers, and I want to follow more people that are fans of the Giants. So give me a follow, and if you DM me, I know ball, I'll give you a follow back. In today's show, we have rumors to talk about with Saquon Barkley. Is a deal already done? And the Giants have been linked to a free agent target that is one of the best in the NFL at the linebacker position. We're going to break all that down, but we're going to do it with our new segment here on the show, and that is our Hard Hats Rumor Meter. We talk about rumors on this show. We talk about the trending topics, and I want to place a scale of believability on these rumors. So we're going to use hard hats like we wore during the watch parties this season. 0 hard hats, fake news, it ain't happening. Like we would give the undefeated Patriots 0 hard hats when it comes to being the New York Football Giants. 1 hard hat would be a small shred of truth. 2 hard hats is people are talking. 3 hard hats is pretty likely. And 4 hard hats are it's elite, as in you can't spell elite without Eli. It's happening. So let's start with story number 1 of the day. And is Keenan Allen going to be being cut by the Los Angeles Chargers? I'm giving that 2 hard hats. People are talking. The Athletic reported, and that being Daniel Popper, who covers the Los Angeles Chargers, that there is less than a 40% chance Keenan is back this offseason. The Chargers are $19.9 million over the salary cap. We talked about this last week on the show, but Mr. Popper has doubled down and put out multiple articles since then about how Keenan Allen could be cut, and he named him a top 6 cut candidate. They also could trade Keenan Allen. This is kind of what his contract looks like right now. He has a $21.7 million cap hit coming up for the 2023 season. He has a savings of $14.8 million for the Chargers if he is cut prior to June 1st. If he is cut after June 1st, the Chargers save $17.5 million. But if he is traded before June 1st, the Chargers save $16.3 million, so $1.5 million more dollars than if they were to cut him. The new team, if they were to trade for him, would owe him $19 million. If they can find a trade partner, sure, they would love to move him, but we've seen this in the NFL. When you're already saying you're going to cut somebody and other teams know you're going to cut somebody, the trade market and the trade value is not going to be very appealing for that player. Keenan Allen, though, is still a damn good football player. He just didn't play all that much in 2022. Just played in 10 games, missed 7 games. But when he played, he was still an elite wide receiver. And I think he could bring some juice to this offense. There's a kind of a misconception out there that Keenan Allen is a guy that all he does is miss football games. But in 2021, he played 16 games. In 2020, he played 14 games. In 2019, he played 16. In 2018, he played 16 games. In 2017, he played 16 games. It was from 2015 to 2016 when he was battling with injuries. He only played in 9 games in those seasons. But when he plays, he produces. But I'd be lying to you if I said I wasn't worried about the age and injuries for Keenan Allen. This is a guy that's been in the NFL for quite some time. He's going to be 31 years old coming up. So I am worried that injuries could start to stack after he just missed 7 games this season. But he is a wide receiver 1, still when healthy. He can line up in the slot. He can line up outside. He's one of the best route runners in the NFL. He can get open deep. He can get open short. And he's got amazing hands. And he's got just a knack for getting open, catching the football, and getting north and south. I think he's a wide receiver 1. And Daniel Jones needs a wide receiver 1 on this roster. And I think the Giants are going to exhaust every single avenue and option to get Daniel Jones a top wide receiver. Maybe it's Keenan Allen in free agency. Could it be even Michael Thomas in free agency when he inevitably gets cut by the New Orleans Saints? Could they look to trade for T. Higgins or Brandon Ayuk or DeAndre Hopkins? I don't know which way they're going to choose, but I do believe they're going to do everything they can to get a legit wide receiver for Daniel Jones to throw to next season. Could that be Keenan Allen? I think there's a shot. That's why I'm giving him 2 hard hats. I think if he gets cut, you're not going to have to commit to him long term. And I don't think he's going to command too much money in free agency. You're not going to get him on the cheap, but you can get him on a very favorable deal. But I want to ask you, with everything we've said today and what you think of Keenan Allen, should the Giants sign him? Should the Giants sign Keenan Allen? Type S for sign, type P for pass. I want to hear from you guys down in the comments section. We're going to get to Saquon Barkley and the linebacker the Giants have been linked to here in a second. But first, I want to give a huge shout out to Athletic Greens. Athletic Greens is sponsoring today's Giants Now video by Chat Sports. I take AG1 by Athletic Greens literally every day. Get comprehensive and convenient daily nutrition at athleticgreens.com/chatsports. I gave AG1 a try because I wanted better gut health and wanted a supplement that actually tastes great. I take AG1 in the morning, and it makes me feel ready to take on my day. AG1 empowers the gut for whole body health, which is something that I need. I start the day with making one great choice, AG1, and healthy decisions follow. Covering my nutritional basis for the day literally couldn't be easier, which is why I trust Athletic Greens. I just mix 1 small scoop of AG1 with water and drink it first thing each morning. I also love that it costs less than $3 a day. It's a really effective daily habit with the highest quality sourced ingredients. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/chatsports. That link is in the comments and description of today's show. Promotes gut health, supports immunity, and boosts energy. That's AG1 by Athletic Greens. Go to athleticgreens.com/chatsports. You're going to love it. I love it. You could thank me later. Next segment on today's show. Could the Giants sign David Long, the linebacker from the Tennessee Titans? I'm also giving this 2 hard hats on our rumor meter. People are talking because CBS Sports listed Long as the one player the Giants should target in NFL free agency. They put out one of those articles highlighting one player every team should target, and it was David Long for Big Blue. And I think that was pretty smart because the Giants need to upgrade the off-ball linebackers on this team, and the Giants have $47.5 million in cap space. Long is expected to be one of the best linebackers in free agency, and for good reason. He was absolutely great last year for Tennessee. He was their leading tackler. He was kind of the juggernaut in what I would say was a pretty damn good run defense. 86 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, 5 pass breakups, and 2 interceptions. He's really good inside the hashes. He's a little bit smaller of a linebacker, only 5'11", 225 pounds, but he's got that sideline to sideline speed. Sometimes gets lost, and just the garbage that happens when trying to stop the run game. But this is someone that's an elite tackler, and he's a pretty good guy in coverage. He's decent at that. 5 pass breakups and 2 interceptions. We know the Giants need to improve their linebacker spot. Look, Jalen Smith, he's not coming back. I doubt Landon Collins comes back. I am intrigued by Darian Beavers, the 6th-round pick last year, the linebacker that tore his ACL. But you need a big guy and a big dog at that position. And some of the other linebackers that could be on the Giants' radar this offseason are these 4 players that, in my opinion, round out the top 5 at the off-ball linebacker position in free agency. Tremaine Edmonds, he's one of the favorites of mine, over 100 tackles last year, 6 tackles for loss and a sack. I love Levante David, a little bit longer in the tooth than the rest of these guys on this graphic right here. But if you're looking for a guy that can come in and change his defense instantly, that's David. Jermaine Pratt is a sneaky name that I like. He's good against the run and good against the pass. And TJ Edwards, you take somebody away from the Eagles, and you also get a really good football player. I'd be happy if any of these guys were signed. I'm also keeping my eyes on Devin Bush, Deion Jones, and Anthony Walker Jr. of the Cleveland Browns. But when it comes to my team building philosophy, I'd rather draft an off-ball linebacker than pay one, because I think we see it so often in the NFL that you need good linebackers to be a good defense, but you can get great linebackers later on in the draft. You don't always have to draft them in the first round, and I kind of view them as the running backs of the defense. You don't have to have a lot of salary cap dollars allocated to that position for it to be really well. Linebackers can change a defense, and the Giants need to get better in that spot. But I would rather draft a linebacker, maybe in round 2 or with one of your third-round picks, than pay big money for one of those guys. I wouldn't be mad if they did it because I think you could build a winning team like that. I just think if you can save some money at the linebacker spot by drafting guys and those guys being good, that helps you build out the rest of your roster. I want to take the pulse, though, of all the real ones. How to fix the linebacker core for the Giants. Trade, free agency, or draft. Type T for trade, F for free agency, or D for draft. We have some juicy rumors right now to talk about when it comes to Saquon Barkley, because Tony Pauline, I believe, of Pro Football Network says the Giants will re-sign Saquon Barkley. I mean, that's good news for the Giants because Saquon Barkley reportedly turned down a deal, a long-term extension with Big Blue, with an average annual value of $12 million per year. That was talked about during the bye week. And maybe if the Giants can't get a long-term deal done, they could look towards the franchise tag, that being $10.1 million. This is what Pauline of Pro Football Network had to say. They said the belief is the New York Giants will retain Saquon Barkley by re-signing him before free agency opens, which comes in March. It's been widely reported that the two sides are negotiating with the hopes of reaching a new deal. I have a lot of thoughts about Saquon Barkley, and I'm somewhat conflicted, to be completely honest with you. Saquon is a great player. No doubt about it. He's someone that makes this football team better. But if you are going to re-sign Saquon Barkley, it is not going to be for cheap. If he already turned down a deal of $12 million, how much does he want? I mean, when you look at what the highest paid running backs are getting, you got guys like Christian McCaffrey for $16 million. And I would say before he was traded to the 49ers, that deal wasn't worth it. Alvin Kamara, that deal hasn't been worth it. Ezekiel Elliott, he's going to be cut. Dalvin Cook, Vikings fans say he's cooked, and he wasn't worth it. I think Nick Chubb was worth it. I think Aaron Jones has been somewhat worth it. And Derrick Henry has been worth it. But that second contract is always risky when you're dealing with a running back. And part of the problem that I have with Saquon Barkley is we really saw two different players this past year. You got the guy in Saquon Barkley that you had against the Tennessee Titans in week 1 of the season. And kind of in week 10 and week 11, things changed. We've broken down this stat graphic into 2 seasons for Saquon Barkley. And weeks 1 through 10, he was electric. 198 carries, 931 yards, 4.7 yards per touch, 6 touchdowns, and 30 broken tackles. But in week 11 through the playoffs, all of those stats went down. Only 115 carries, 495 yards, 4.3 yards per carry, and 6 touchdowns with only 11 missed tackles. But this is where it gets interesting. In weeks 1 through 10, he had 3 runs of over 35 yards, a 68-yard run, a 40-yard run, and a 36-yard run. But in weeks 11 through the playoffs, he only had 1 run of over 35 yards, which was 39 yards. When you look at 10 runs of 10-plus yards, he had 23 in the first 10 weeks of the season and only 12 in the back half of the season. And when you look at runs of over 15-plus yards, he had 14 in the first half of the season and 7 in the second half. That tells me that he wore down over the season, and as he gets older, more tread is going to be lost on those tires, and that somewhat worries me. You want players to be peaking at the end of the season, when I think we've seen Saquon Barkley kind of descend as the season goes on. Saquon 100% makes the Giants better, but New York has a lot of holes to fill. They need a new center. They need 2 more interior offensive linemen at the left guard and right guard spot. They need multiple more weapons on the outside. They could use an off-ball linebacker. They could use another corner. They could use another defensive tackle. They could use another pass rusher. And I know that Saquon makes this team better. But no matter what they do, I will support it because I love this football team. But it is going to be a decision that I think kind of writes out what Joe Schoen's tenure in New York will be like. If he signs him and it works, it'll be good job, Joe. If he signs him and he doesn't work, we're going to be pretty upset about it as Giants fans. I think he will be back. That's why I gave it 3 hard hats. I think it's pretty likely, But I want to ask you, how much would you pay Saquon per year? I'd love to get him at under $13 million per year, but I think the Giants might go as high as 13.5. Let me know how much you'd pay Saquon Barkley per year. Also, I just want to say thank you to everybody that has watched the show today, watched the show this offseason, watched the show this season. We just crossed over 24,000 subscribers on the channel. So I just want to say thank you guys. I greatly appreciate it. We're growing like crazy here, and we're going to get you guys more content than ever this offseason. Videos every single day. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Let's go, G-Men.